Cheers for making this a day we will not soon forget. I also want to acknowledge a few people that have had a much larger influence on Scott's life than I. Anyone who knows Scott knows how close he is to his grandfather. In fact, one of the great bonuses of being friends with Scott is getting to hang out with Pops, who is, quite frankly, much cooler than Scott is. Long before I arrived on the scene, Pop was there, showing Scott through life. Thus, while I stand here today as Scott's contemporary, his best friend, and perhaps most importantly as someone who can throw a great bachelor party or two, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge his true best man, his grandfather. I also want to acknowledge his grandparents, his parents, his siblings, his uncle Mike and Jack, and their families. Amen. These are the people that turned Scott into the man he is today, and to the person I call my best friend. Over the past 10 plus years, they have all grown to be like family to me, and I want to personally thank them for all the kindness and generosity they've shown. Eric, I can tell you from personal experience that today you're joining one of the most interesting, generous, and loving families I've ever had the pleasure of considering myself part of. Lastly, there are a couple of very important people here today without whom very little of this would have been possible. The great thing about a joyous event like this is as the evening progresses, we will all get to spend more and more time talking to them. So ladies and gentlemen, join me in a very special thanks to the bar staff. My father always told me it's not where you start, it's where you end up. For example, the first encounter that Scott and I ever had was when I was driving through UVA's campus. I became distracted by a good-looking co-ed on the sidewalk and nearly ran over Scott in a Mitsubishi Montero while he was crossing the street. However, here I am 10 years later giving the best man speech at his wedding. It's funny how life works and relationships are born, but I for one believe in serendipity. Serendipity to a large degree is what brought Scott and Erica together despite a maybe similarly inauspicious beginning. Now, not many people may know this, but Scott and Erica actually went to high school together, but it was not until many years later that they would find the connection that brings us all here today. Scott had just moved back down to Tampa from New York and was enjoying a night out on the town. Obviously, when he saw Erica's pretty face, he realized he had better bust out the big moves. For those of you who don't know Scott, he can be pretty suave when he wants to. So he walked over to Erica and reached inside his wallet and pulled out a card. And on the card was a simple sentence.
Andrew. Ruined it. Andrew.
Finished files are the result of years of scientific study combined with the experience of years. That's all it said on it. Scott made a simple bet with Erica. If she could tell him the number of F's that appear in that sentence, he would leave her alone. However, if she got it incorrect, she would have to go on a date with him. Now, I know what everybody's thinking. Number of F's in that sentence. It's pretty simple even for a person who went to the University of Florida. Scott had a trick up his sleeve. See, 9 out of 10 people who read this sentence thinks that there are 3 or maybe 4 F's in it. The reason why is because the human mind tends to read over the word of. There are actually 6 F's in that sentence. Erica got it incorrect, and the rest is history. Now, I remember being back in Charlottesville soon after Scott met Erica, and Scott showed me the trick. He told me how it helped break the ice with Erica. So I said, you know, Scott, where can I get such a good luck charm? And he turned to me and he said, Buckman, I don't need it anymore. Why don't you take it? Maybe you'll find someone nice like Erica. Now, I keep that card in my wallet to this day, and I've had no such luck yet. But if any of the bridesmaids wants an explanation on how the joke is done after my speech, you're more than welcome to ask. Over the past 10 years, Scott and I have shared many, many good times. A few bad, quite a few ugly. With such a distinguished group at this fine event, decorum prevents me from talking of many of Scott and I's travails. It suffices to say that we've been through a lot together, and we could not, under any circumstances, be more like brothers. Actually, wait, now that I think about it, if Nicole and I got married, Scott, we would actually be brothers.
Yes,
we can all pray for miracles in our own time, but before Rick kills me, I have a few final words for the bride and groom. Erica, while Scott and I have been through way too many good times during the course of our friendship, these are not the things in reality that forge the strong bond that we have. You can tell a lot about a person by how they stick with you when times are rough. It was when girlfriends broke up with me, or crushes broke my heart. And I can assure you this happened quite a few times, and may very well happen again tonight. that Scott was there to pick me up. Through family sickness and times of uncertainty, Scott always stood by me. And there's not a single problem that I wouldn't go to him with. This is the sign of a good man, Erica, and a good husband, so you have chosen well. Scott, Erica's a gem of a woman. And life may be very simple as long as you follow the advice of Lyndon Baines Johnson, who said, "Only two things are necessary to keep one's wife happy. One is to let her think she is having her own way. The other, to let her have it." I can honestly say I've never seen Scott happier as when he met Erica. Erica, you look stunning today and you make a beautiful bride. You have not only changed Scott's life for the better, but brought out the best in him. Let me just say that I do not think that Scott could be marrying a finer woman, and I don't think you could be marrying a finer man. And I'm honored to consider both of you friends. True love stories never have endings. With that said, let's toast Scott and Erica. May your love be modern enough to survive the times, yet old-fashioned enough to last forever. Love you, Scott.